Hey, REL Fresh Divs. This is Nosedive back. I'm doing the Week 1 recap, Week 2 preview show. I just wanted to talk about something first before we look at the Week 1 results. If you go in the Swiss, Week 1 has not the results of the actual week. I'm assuming this is something that the admins had to do to get us to actually have the proper matchups in round 2. Maybe the Swiss in-game wasn't doing it properly, but I figured I'd just address that first. We'll go to the Excel sheet here. We'll go to Week 1. So these are just all the matchups here. Blue side, I put my predictions for the week and then what actually happened. So Dunware tied the Flings. Surprising result for Rats, especially with a Mighty Blow tackle Storm Vermin. But I mean, Blood Bowl is a dice game, so the tie here between Donk Jonkies and Kicking Your Assonance, not a big surprise. Like, it's undead against Elven Union. Like, I predicted the Elves would win, but a tie isn't shocking. T-Cell following through and beating the Nurgle in my prediction. Goblins against Goblins ended in a tie, which is just poetic. Not the score I wanted it to end with, but a 1-1 tie is fine. The Humans with a lot of Mighty Blow beat the Dark Elves, doubling the score I predicted. 4-2 is a crazy score line. I might do a recap of that replay at some point, just because that looks like it was a fun game. The Chaos beat the Nurgle. I just predicted a Nurgle win just because of like foul appearance and the beast and everything. I figured they'd have like a little bit of an advantage at the fresh level, but I mean a Chaos win is good. Skaven tied the Necro, which is not like the biggest shock in the world. I predicted a Skaven win, but it's Skaven and it's Necro. Both are really good teams, so. Humans against Dark Elves. I predicted a Dark Elf win just because it's like fresh teams, but the Humans ended up taking the win in the end, which not a surprising result, but not what I predicted. This was a shocking one. The Halflings with a 3-1 win over J-Leave's Necro. I'm pretty sure there was some bad dice on J-Lev's side, but I don't want to take anything away from the Halfling coach Chob, but good game. Now this actually completely followed my prediction, but it was an admin win for Nexus over Squidward. The Minor Scramble took it over the Goldtooth Git split us. This was a shocking one. The Old World Alliance lost to Goblins. I guess part of the problem with the predictions I was making is that stunties at low team value are actually quite tough teams to go against when you don't have a lot of skills. And Old World Alliance does not have a lot of skills like block or wrestle. So it's actually annoying to punch goblins. So I think that was a big part of it. I'll actually just come back up. I'm pretty sure for the Halfling J-Lev match, the Halflings were running a Griff inducement build, which explains the 3-1 result. We had a 0-0 tie between the Nurgle of Papa Nurgle and the Necromantic of Steerig. A little bit shocked, but I mean it's early Nurgle. Like if you aren't getting like a decent dice, like it's really easy to draw them. Another admin win for the Undead over the Orcs. Predicted a win for Isla, but the admin win came through. My Nobility took down Schooner's Lizardmen. I feel like the Lizards are going to be a bigger threat later on in the season once they get a Croxagore and everything up. But the 1-0 win, it's just a battle of like I have a lot of skills on the Nobility versus Lizardmen's basically just falling risk to 1-9s the whole game. Last match of the week, Dark Elves against Orcs. Dark Elves took it 3-0, a very surprising result. I predicted a 1-1 draw. Like if I had to re-predict it, I could lean more to the Dark Elves just because it's low team value. But I mean, I didn't predict a 3-0. That's crazy. And then Midnight Louie got a bye week win. I didn't update the standings on this sheet, but I have them updated here with our matches for next week. We have a new coach, Modest Karma with Dark Elves, joining the division. So we actually have even numbers, so there's no bye week anymore at the current moment. These are our standings after week 1. And if you notice, we got a nice split of the greenhorn coaches. 2 coaches won, 6 coaches drew, 2 coaches lost, which makes the matchups easy. If you look, we actually have it just lining up perfectly. The 2 win, tie, 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 and the loss. And I'm pretty sure Zord in the initial change announcement said the first 3 weeks would be Greenhorn v Greenhorn. I think maybe he'll change that up just because there's going to be a Greenhorn coach with potentially 2 wins playing a coach with 1 win, 1 draw. I don't know how that'll go, or especially with at the bottom end there. So we'll see how that goes. For non-Greenhorn coaches, Jahans with his 3-0 win is leading the pack with his touchdown differential, and then Chob's Halflings are up there too. And then we have a lot of 1 touchdown games. So I'll just bring us back into the game so we can look at the teams in round 2. So we'll start at the top with the Golden Core crew against the relatively legal weapons. 6 SPP on a catcher, 6 SPP on a blitzer, saving up probably to get tackle, I'd assume. You need a tackle on the team. And if this guy's wrestle, I'm assuming he'll get strip or tackle when he gets 2 more SPP. Thrower's out for a game, which sucks, but I mean, you can just carry on a blitzer, carry on your catcher. Halfling's got some SPP from the MVP, I'm assuming. Probably just going to save that up for sneaky git maybe, or dirty player. I like this team. I think this team is going to, if I just want to make a blanket prediction for the rest of the Swiss, I think this team is going to finish near the top of the 6-game Swiss. And that's without ogres on this human team. But that's just because of these skills. Having 2 guard, 3 mighty blow, and having a kick already. That's a really solid team. And their team value is not high with all these skills because they don't have the ogre. I wonder if he's planning on buying an ogre or not, but we'll see. And then they're up against the goblins from T-Self, who... Is this block new? I don't know for sure. I didn't really take a look at the teams. I didn't watch the old video to see the teams beforehand, but still a really solid looking team. He's out a couple goblins, but I mean, he'll have some inducements, I guess. Actually, not a lot of inducements. He won't even be able to get a bribe with the TV diff. But I mean, with those 2 teams, I'm gonna predict I think it's safe to predict a human win over the goblins. I think a 2-1 win is a safe prediction, but with that much mighty blow, it could be a bigger result. But that's just what we'll say for now. Hop back in the game. Irate Rapscallion's army against Kicking Your Assonance. More goblins. He's got mighty blow on the Fanatic now, which is a really good skill for a Fanatic. He's out as Bomber and as Ooligan. That's rough. Troll's got 8 SPP. Isn't it 8 for a double at first level? Maybe he just hasn't leveled it yet. Tackle Goblin is really good. Wrestle Goblin's really good. I like this team. Diving Tackle on a Goblin's good. I think they're in trouble without their Bomber or their Ooligan. The dirty player Sneaky Git is crazy combo. Really strong. They're up against the Elves. I think they have a Tackle Goblin and a Wrestle Goblin, which makes it possible to knock down these Blodgers. But I think without the Bomber and the Ooligan to remove people, I'm going to have to probably predict the Elves here. The Elves are down 1 player, so they're going to be 11-20, and the goblins are 830. So they're getting a lot of inducements, the goblins. They're going to be 870 against 1120. They're going to get 250 in inducements, which could be, I guess they can get another Bomber, they can get some bribes. You know, just with how goblins have been doing, I'm going to safely predict a 1-1 draw between the goblins and the elves. Next up, we have Injudicious Sorts against Flinging Fun, which that'll be an interesting matchup as it is goblins against halflings. These goblins, they already have a dirty player goblin, so they got another guy to follow up if the Ooligan gets sent off. No levels on the troll. The Looney's got a level, probably just waiting to take that, and another goblin has a level. This is a solid looking team. 1010. Let's go take a look at the flings. 920. They got block. This guy could grab a random skill. He's probably waiting to get a double. Is the tree waiting for a stat up, maybe? I think he could be saving for. I actually think this is a really solid looking team. I think with them down team value, the goblins aren't going to have any bribes. But the goblins have all the secret weapons. But I don't think they don't have tackle or anything. I think it's safe to predict. It's boring. You know what? Actually, I like the flings. Let's predict the flings are going to get that win. I think it's actually probably going to be a draw, but I don't want to predict too many draws. We'll go back into the game. Donk Jonkies against Rat Titans. The Undead, did they get any levels? Sure hands. This Mummy, what's he saving up for, I wonder? He might just not have leveled him yet. Ghouls getting SPP, zombies. He's got a tackle white, which is good, and having the 2 Mighty Blow Mummies is good. Let's check out the rats. He's out 1 gutter. Still got his... Is this shadowing on a gutter? It's a random. Okay. Couple linemen. Still got his Mighty Blow tackle. I have a feeling that... See, rats are rats, and they can do a lot of crazy stuff, especially if the Mighty Blow can, like, get rid of a couple pieces. But they only have 11 men. The Undead have... They have 12, so they have a body to foul with if a gutter or the blitzer ends up on the floor. They have a tackle for gutters, and then the Mighty Blow can just, like, knock out line rats. I'm actually going to predict an Undead win here. Let's go back to the sheet. I think a 2-1 Undead win is a safe call, because I think the rats are going to score at least 1. And then we have Fungus Cowboys against Romanian Rebels. Let's go take a look at these teams. Dark Elves with 3 Blodge. They're out of Lino. They're going to get 3 Journeymen to bring them up to 11-10. Against the Fungus Cowboys, who are 11-30. There's no tackle for the Nurgle yet. They only have 1 Mighty Blow. Well, I guess 2 with the Beast. I think in most matchups for Nurgle early, you gotta favor the other team. I think this is going to be a comfortable win for the Romanian Rebels. You know what? I'll actually predict a 3-1 win over the Nurgle. I think just having those 3 Blodge makes it, as long as you don't get them all tied down by the Beast, it's a really comfortable game for you that you're not too worried about. So next up is Kanjire City Chips against Carl's Car Wash. Let's go take a look at these teams. This is the Griff Fling build. I think they go Griff and a Chef. So that'll be an interesting build. Griff is really hard to take down, especially for a fresh team. Carl's Car Wash. He's out of Blitzer. Doesn't have... It'll be 955. I think they can still get Griff and maybe a chef. How much do they? They probably have enough in their bank. Yeah, they definitely do. I think just because there's not a lot of skills on the humans, like they didn't get a level up in that game, I think we're safe to. I hate to predict another Fling win, but I think the Flings are going to beat these humans. Unless maybe they can knock out a tree early, but I think the comfortable choice is that. And then our next game is the Dancing Bacon against the Last Minute Suicide Squad. Dancing Bacon. These were the 3-0 Dark Elves last week. They have the Witch build. They got Blodge on a Blitzer. It's a really good start. They're not down any men. And they're up against some goblins. The goblins are missing their Ooligan, which I actually think is going to be a huge part of the game. Like, you want to step on blitzers or witches if you knock them down, and being out your dirty player really sucks. Disturbing Presence is but like the dirty player is just so good. The rest are just normal goblins. They're 860. What's the team value on the Dark Elves? 1020, so that's 160k. That's like I believe that's 2 bribes and a bomber. So I just like I don't like predicting stunty wins because stunties are crazy. But I'm gonna predict another stunty win. I think the stunties are gonna run this division with just being fresh teams. Then we have Shock and Appalled against the Minor Scramble. This is a Lizardman team that just got a bye last week. 80k in the bank. I'm assuming they're going to save up for a reroll first and then a Croxagore. Nothing special to talk about. They had the bye week. And then Minor Scramble also had a bye week. Or did they actually play their game? I don't know what's happening. They must have gotten a bye week because I see 2 levels here. This guy's got random shadowing, so I'm assuming he got an MVP then. And then he has 1 SPP, so he took a touchdown and an MVP because they had a bye week. But I mean, it's Elven Union. What can you say about it, really? I think this is just going to come down to, can the Lizards roll 1 in 9s or not? I normally really like Lizards early on, but I think just for this matchup, I'm going to predict the Elves. Then we have the Midnight Marauders against the West Texas Pink and Blues. This is my Nobility against some Chaos. Midnight Marauders. I didn't get any levels up last game. I'm down a lineman and a bodyguard, so I'm going to get 90k. I'm going to be at 1015. I bought an Apo. I got 1 touchdown last game. We are up against the West Texas Pink and Blues, who don't have any levels either, and it looks like they lost a chosen blocker in the last game, which, let's see, they're going to be up to 960, so they'll be able to get like a Bloodweiser Babe, or a Keg, or whatever it's called now. I mean, I like my odds just because I have skills. I have a Mighty Blow Ogre, I have block and a couple wrestle and stand firm. And I mean, like, it's tough to predict against yourself. I'm going to predict a 2-1 win for myself. We'll put that in there. I got it in the 2-1 win. Coffin Dodgers against Regenerate. This is Undead. This was a bye win. I still like the build, right? They got some skeletons for mobility and fouling. They're up against Regenerate, which is a Necro team, which took the double werewolf, 1 wraith, 1 ghoul build. No level ups, but I mean, It's an interesting matchup between the necromantic and the undead. I think it's going to really come down to Mighty Blow and against Claw. I think Necro are a better team, but I think Undead are still a good team, but I'm going to predict a Necromantic win. You know what? Let's go a 1-0 win. Plague Flies against the Crimson Cheese Eaters. Let's take a look here. Plague Flies. No level ups in the last game. Just a standard 1 Pestigore. They got a beast. They're down 2 players. So they're going to be up to 990. They're up against the Crimson Cheese Eaters. Did these guys get any levels out of their last game? Nope, they're down 2 gutters. This line rat can level. Maybe saving for a stat, or he's going to grab a guard or Mighty Blow or something. Down 2 gutters. They're going to be 900. They're going to be able to get a keg, probably, or a bomber. I think it's a Skaven into Nurgle is a tough matchup for Skaven early on. I think we're gonna call this a 1-1 tie. And then we have Necromantic against Lizards. Necromantic. They're out a Wolf and a Wraith. Those are terrible injuries to get early on. Minus armor on a Wraith, minus agility on a Wolf. That's horrible. 2 of your 5 positionals are gone. Here, wait, let's actually double check what team value are they going to be at. 8, 10, they got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're going to get 1 zombie. So they're going to be at 850. They're up against the Lizards, who are going to be at 935. Because Asaurus died in my game against the Lizards. I think I gotta give this one to the Lizards, just because they aren't down a werewolf and a wraith. Sure, they're down Asaurus, but I just think it's a solid matchup for them, especially with 1 claw gone and the wraith. Let's go to our next match, which is the Generic Orc Brethren against Mayhem Incorporated. I believe this is on page 2. Generic Orc Brethren out 2 biggins. That's a brutal first game. And they're up against Mayhem Incorporated. Dark Elves without levels. You know what, down 2 biggins. I think I gotta give that to the Dark Elves. I think we're going to say a 0-2 for the Dark Elves. And then we have some J-Levs. If at first, his Necromantic. They're doing solid. He's got the 1 Wolf build. Lost a zombie last game to an MNG, but that's fine. He'll be at 995. He's up against the Marienburg Drama Society Old World Alliance, and they are down a blocker and a thrower. 50k, 885. They're gonna have about 100k. They could grab a bomber. I don't think Old World Alliance is a very good team. I think they're fun. But just based on the fact that they're gonna be able to grab a bomber, I'm tempted to lean more in their favor, but I think a safe bet is a 1-1 draw. Because I predict they're going to get a bomber. It's going to help kind of stall the Necro score, but I think the Necro are still going to score. And then they're just going to come back in the second half. A little 1-1 draw. And then we have Modest Karma against the Green Rotters of Size Morty. Dark Elves against Necro. These are fresh Dark Elves, which they have a runner, which is interesting. I like the runner. In in previous editions, I used to like going with a runner, get Nerves of Steel on it. You'd bring a second runner with Nerves of Steel, get Catch on another level up, and then you basically just run up the sideline and you have a backup play of, hey, they're blitzing me, pass the ball away, it's safe for a turn. I like this build. Fresh. He's up against the Green Rotters of Sizemorty, which are just down a Rotter. So they're going to be 990. Ooh, did they gain a Rotter? I think they gained a Rotter in the last game, who stole the MVP too. No, it's Elves against Nurgle, but I mean, I just think Nurgle are really good at tying games early in development. I'm going to predict another 1-1 draw. I know it's boring to keep predicting draws, but I just think that's what the outcome's going to be. And then we have Orcs against Orcs. This is the build with only 2 Blitzers, 2 Biggins, a Troll, and a Goblin. And I believe this is a pretty standard build. He's got 1 less Blitzer. I really don't know what to think of this matchup. I think the 2 Biggins are huge. But the Troll also like can tie up players, eat up blocks. I like the Troll build, but I think just because they have the Biggins, I'm going to predict a win for the Haters Gonna Law. You know what? I think it might be a 0-1 win. So those are my predictions for week 2. Again, when you're in-game, they don't have the old results. I'm assuming that's something to do with the admin side, where they just can't have those results to get the matchups they need. But here's a look at your standings again. At this point in the Swiss, nobody's out of it. I think for all these people at the bottom, I think losing a game this week can have pretty big effects on where you're going to finish at the end. Like, I think if you lose a game this week, you got to win at least 3 of your last 4 if you want a chance at making it. Because I believe like basically half, slightly more than half of the people are going to the playoff qualifiers. But you got to win already. I'd be pretty comfortable. I think a loss this week doesn't knock you out. I think going 0-2 can knock you out. 0-1-2 isn't the worst. You can still bounce back. But I feel like the week 3 matches are going to have a lot more implications on who's making it and who's not versus this week. So, thanks for watching. I'll be back next week. I might do a video going over some replays as well. But that's all for now.